Welcome. My name is Thomas. I'm here to share in this video my tax preparation commonly asked questions that I get from people who look to start their own tax business. And so I'm going to go through those commonly asked questions that I get along with the responses I normally give to people who ask those questions, which will give you a better understanding and insight on what it's going to take for you if you look to start your own tax preparation business. Uh, One of the questions that's commonly asked is it difficult to learn? And the question that it varies based on each individual ability to comprehend and interpret the information given is the real response to that. And so that's going to be different. So out of 100 people, you might have 10 people who might breeze through it with no problem, and the other 90 on some level might not do so well. So it's going to be different for each one. Another commonly asked question is, do you need any prior training or experience to get started? And a lot of times people use the fact that you don't need prior training or experience to get started when it comes to certain businesses. But in reality, if you have some prior training or experience already under your belt, that does help when it comes to giving you a better understanding if this is the business model you even want to embark on. So that's why prior training experiences come into play. It allows you to decide if you even want to start a tax preparation business by already being a tax preparation preparer or tax professional inside the industry or not. And so when it comes to that selling piece is one that can be misleading when it comes to you starting a business. And a lot of times that's a commonly asked question and response that you don't need any prior training or experience to get started. And even though you might not per se, it's definitely helpful to have prior training or experience in whatever you want to start a business in. So if you got prior experience as a tax preparer working for a tax firm, then you hopefully find out hands-on some real working experience if you want to go to the next level by starting your own tax preparation business yourself. So that's what makes it important to have prior training or experience when it comes to doing whatever you plan on doing when it comes to starting a business. And so when people tell me that you don't need any prior training or experience, even though that might be true on the surface, if you go deeper, you find out that people who have prior training or experience or whatever they want to get started with have a better understanding of what they're about to embark on when it comes to starting a tax preparation business. Another commonly asked question is it expensive to get started? And so not really, but based on some factors that we discussed by asking them a series of questions. And so with me, as an example, when I started my tax preparation business years ago, it wasn't very expensive from the standpoint that A, I started from home, B, I already had a computer, already had a printer, already had paper, and already had ink. So I already had some things set up that I was using already. So when it came to starting the tax business, my overhead was much lower than it would have been if I wouldn't have had those things I just mentioned. So the price to start a tax business is going to vary based on if you start from home versus a commercial location. But overall, regardless of which way you get started, it can generally save $5,000, especially if you're going to start a brick and mortar based on how much your rent going to be for the month. Because the rent is going to be the most expensive part of doing a brick and mortar business versus working from home. And the term working from home doesn't mean you have to necessarily have a home to work from, but wherever you live that you decide you want to do a business from is what that's really all about. So some people take working from home literally to mean a home when we definitely simply talk about having a place where you live at, where you might decide to do a business from. Another commonly asked question is it too much competition? And in my mindset is no. That's what I say. I say no. It's hundreds of thousands of millions of people out here who call themselves starting a tax preparation business every year. We have people who was never my competition in my eyesight, no way, even when I was a rookie, because it was all about your mindset and the way you thought and how you felt about you and your ability to go out and get clients for your tax preparation business is what it's really all about. Another commonly asked question is brick and mortar versus virtual. Virtual is the hot thing going on right now. And if you listen to certain people, virtual gonna get tied into having a particular type of software, when in reality, virtual has nothing to do with the software. But based on that person's experience or lack of experience, they will give you information telling you that going virtual is based on software, when in reality it's not. We've been working virtual way before the pandemic ever hit, because we always had clients who lived in different states who we did business with, and that's virtual right there in itself. But back then, the term was used remotely. And so remotely, we work with clients who lived in different states for many, many years. So it's nothing new about the concept of so-called virtual/virtual. Is that simply means that you're doing business with people that you're not face to face with, and those people can live right there in your hometown, and you still can be doing business virtually because y'all not interacting and doing a face to face transaction. And so anything that's not dealing with a face to face hands-on transaction, in my opinion, is a virtual or remotely. So another commonly asked question is, let me see, how do you go out and get clients? Well, when it comes to going to get clients, there's different ways you can do that. The most common way you get started is basically just spreading the word to your family and friends about you starting your own tax business, having some business cards printed up and passed out to those people that's in your warm market, we call it, and that's people that already know, like, and trust us on some level. And so you got certain people who will never do business with you, regardless of how good you are with the business, because the perception of they have of you won't allow them to do so, and that's fine. Have no problem with that. So when it comes to starting a tax business, the first thing you got to do is make up your mind this the business model and career move you want to make. And the only true way to do that is to go out and do your research to find out what it's going to take, what steps and tasks you got to implement to even make it happen. And then ask yourself, are you willing and able to either do them for yourself, or are you willing and able to find someone who can help you make it happen? And so those are the first moves you got to come to when it comes to starting a business, regardless of what it is you got to, number one, make your mind up you want to start a business, and number two, have an idea of what that business looks like. And so when it comes to a tax business, I got started years ago where I did the research and I went out and implemented all the things I need to do to have my tax business set up. And then from just years of having a tax business and helping other people start their own tax service, that's how I started my coaching program last year. And so I just simply took what I've already been doing for many, many years and turned it into a coaching program, which helps others do the same. And so if you're a woman looking to start your own tax business and you want to have someone who can guide you through a simple process that's going to take away all the guesswork, that's going to take away all the frustration and learning curve of getting started and getting set up and having everything put in place correctly, then the most smartest move would be to invest in yourself by investing in someone's mentorship and coaching program. And like I stated in another video before, I got clients who work with people who have their own tax service, but they wasn't able to help them start a tax service because that wasn't what their agenda was about. And so I told her that that's the reason he couldn't help you. He was set up as a tax service to go out and get clients to do tax preparation for. He's not set up as a coaching service to help you start your tax business, so he can't help you do that. And so that's what separates me from people who have their own tax service, is that they have a tax service that's designed for them to go out there and get clients to do tax preparation for, and not to help people who want to start their own tax preparation business get started. And not to say they can't do that, but that's not their focus, not their agendas, and not what they're really trying to get done. And so you got to really find someone who whole intent is to have a coaching business designed for you and mine, that has your best interest at heart, that's designed for you to be able to set up your own tax business in a simple and efficient way, giving you the best information available that's going to allow you to make that happen from a simple approach. And I'm only going to give you what you need to know and understand as you need to have it. And so that's important by having a mentor and coach on your team, because I'm not going to give you all this extra information that you're not ready to use right now when it comes to starting your own tax business. The two things I focus on with new people, especially with no prior training experience, is one, who tax class you're going to take to learn the skills and knowledge to prepare taxes, and who professional software you want to use to get the job done with. Those are the two main challenges that you're going to have to get through to know how to have a tax service. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if you I don't care if you're an enrolled agent. I don't care if you're a tax attorney. I don't care if you're a CPA. I don't care what your title is as a person, but those are the main things you need to have in place first in order to put the sign out saying tax preparation, unless you got people on your team that's going to do the work for you. And we're not talking about that business model. We're talking about people who start out as solopreneurs, who are going to be the one-man show, who are going to do basically all the work themselves getting started. When I first got started, I started with 2 locations, and I had some people that I didn't have the money for, but I had the confidence in my ability to make enough money to pay my people, and I was able to do that. And so that's what I'm talking about, is that you want to get with somebody who has a program in place already designed to help you get started from a very simple approach that's going to give you the information you need, where you can make simple decisions on what tools and resources and things you want to have in place. And since you're brand new to getting started, a lot of times people just take my recommendations on software and banks and all the different things that I'm using. They take those recommendations and put them in place for their own tax business when they come to getting started. And from there, they can grow and change and evolve into something different after that. So when it comes to having a tax business, it's not difficult, but only you can decide that. For me, I didn't have no problem taking a tax course back in 1995, deciding I enjoyed and acquired a passion for preparing individual income taxes, and decided to make a career out of that from there. I had no problem with that. But that's my story. That might not be the same for you. So when it comes to starting a tax business, there's a lot of different moving pieces in place. And you want to definitely have somebody that you can go to that's going to help you with them different moving pieces, so you can save some time, money, and frustration. Because the worst thing that we don't want to have to do, that we all must do anyway, is we learn as we go. Learning as you go always going to have some mistakes embedded in it. That's just human nature of learning as you go model. As I started my tax business and I learned a whole lot of things as I went, I made mistakes. I was able to make some corrections. I made to implement some protocols that saved some things from happening that should have been happening in the first place. But being new to the industry and not having the mindset to even know and understand I should be asking these type of questions is where inexperience come into play. So when you get started, there's some things you got to learn, and you definitely will do better by having someone on your team that you can have to help you miss all those learning as you go mistakes and pitfalls of having a tax business in place. And so that's what I offer with my mentorship and coaching program, is that I take away all the guesswork to getting started. I give you just what you need to have you set up your tax business. I give you all the information and resources and training so you can be a well-oiled machine for us having a tax business and being able to grow and build it based on simple marketing strategies. And so coming soon, I'm doing a monthly membership program for $47 for people who don't have $2,000 to invest at one time, or don't have $2,000 to pay over a 4 or 6 month period inside my coaching program. And so the monthly membership is going to definitely give you all the guidance and information and tools and resources at your disposal that the high-end coaching program will give you, but at a much affordable price point. And then you're able to implement these moving pieces as you go based on your overall budget, and a chance to be able to do that will be based on you and your financial overall situation. And so when it comes to software, for example, I ideally ask you how much money you have to invest for software. And if you tell me I got $500 to spend on software, then I'm going to show you $500 worth of different software options. And so that's technically and ideally how that would go when it comes to guiding you through a process to starting the tax business or anything else that you want to do. So when it's all said and done, if you're looking to start a tax business and you know in your heart that you prolonged it, you delayed it, you're out of excuses, the most simplest thing you can do is call me up. Let's talk, let's chat. Let me educate you and show you and send you some information through email on what that's going to look like for you and let you make an informed decision based on that if this is the right fit for you in the first place. And if you decide it is and you want to go forward, then the next steps to take is to get started with somebody if it's not me. And I'll see you in my next video.